So this is task 2 of the cooling and lubrication labs that we're doing. This one's called the cooling system inspection and pressure test. And the first thing you want to do is make sure we fill in all this information if we have it. If I give you an engine only, then you're just going to fill in this portion here, and then I'll give you the rest of the information on this car as far as the year, make, and model of the car. The objective for this lab is for you, the student, to inspect, pressure test, and determine location of leaks and any needed repairs that the cooling system may need. Okay? The materials you're going to need, obviously, eye protection, radiator pressure tester, flashlight, or a light if you're indoors to see what's going on, coolant and or distilled water, and then that vehicle here or the engine. Now, again, two things. Always you have your glasses on, and number two, you never open the cooling system if that radiator cap is hot. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to do is remove the radiator cap, okay, and top off the cooling system. And on top of the radiator cap should be a number, and that number is going to be anywhere between 8 and 15 or 16. And then it should have LBS next to it somewhere. That's how many pounds that cap is rated for. What we want to do is fill in that information right here. Go ahead and write that right here before we even start applying pressure or hooking up the pressure tester to the system. Just go ahead and note that here. Also, before we start to apply pressure, go ahead and fill in that same number here, because that's as high as we're going to pressurize the system, is what that cap says. That's what the system's rated for. Okay. So once you have that number here, go ahead and hook up the pressure tester to the radiator neck or wherever that you need to attach it, and you're going to pump that coolant tester up to that pressure that you have written here, and then you're going to leave it. While this is sitting here, we're going to go ahead and inspect all these things. We're going to inspect the belts, hoses, fan, radiator, anything that has to do with the cooling system. Also, this is a good time to check for any leaks. You want to look around and make sure there's nothing leaking from the engine. Also, once you're done, after you take off the pressure tester, go ahead and look in the radiator or the expansion tank and look at the appearance of the coolant. Does it look like it's in good condition? Does it look rusty? Give me a description of the appearance. Okay. Now, after you've done all this, and this should take about 5 minutes to do, you want to check your pressure again and see if it's the same as the pressure you have here that you pumped it up to, or if it's different, and you want to note that number here. Okay. The next thing you have is the system results, circle 1, and you want to circle pass or fail. It passes if these numbers are the same, and it fails if these numbers are different after 5 minutes. So you want to go ahead and circle one of those once you're done with that. Now, after you're done testing the system, go ahead and get the right adapter for the cap. And again, you should already have this number here for the cap. Here for the cap. And then go ahead and pressurize that cap and see if it can hold that much pressure, and then note what it held here. It may be what the cap is rated for, it may not. And so that's your job to check. Now, if it does hold that correct pressure, go ahead and circle pass. If it's not holding the correct pressure, go ahead and circle fail. Okay, and then your recommendations. Are there any repairs, or is there anything that needs to be replaced? Okay. Now, what do you inspect belts for? And we've gone over this before, but we're going to inspect belts for cracking, for stiffness, for dryness. We want to inspect anything that may cause a belt to not work correctly. And then what do we inspect our hoses for? Again, we want to inspect it for any bulging or cracking or ballooning or softness. You want to go ahead and look both of these up and be very specific in the textbook, in the chapter on cooling, and you will find that information there, not just what I'm telling you right here in this demonstration video. Okay, so once you have all this filled out, go ahead and bring it on over to me, and we'll take a look at it and get you signed off.